Three. Hey guys, welcome to World
Hey,
Drone Community. We got Al here with us, the co-host, coming live from the hotel room on his cell phone.
hey. That's right, Robbie. It's been a wonderful time here in Florida, man. We had a unbelievable fellowship with all the drone heads, man. I met so many people, old Farson in a drone. I mean, so many people I've met as an example, and we were able to do so much. And Captain Ray Kelly, Brad, Matt, Johnny, and all those guys worked so hard to put a really good event. And by the way, your Mini 2 was won by a lady, and it was awesome. I mean, it was
No, the
awesome.
lady
She was
won.
so
Mark. The
pumped.
lady won. The lady won. Mark Fisher's.
Oh, it was Mark Fisher's. Okay.
Those other guys won my drone. Won the drone that we gave away.
Okay. Okay.
It was
Yeah.
those other guys. It was funny because we were like those other guys. I was like, that's the channel name. Because some people that don't know say, well, who's those guys? Like, those other guys. So they won that. I don't know who won the GoPro, or I saw somebody won an action cam. Oh,
Yeah.
Herman. Yeah,
It was.
Herman. Bill said Herman got it. And hey, Bill, thank you for doing a live stream through that because I could see Ray giving the stuff away, but on the left, I couldn't see really who was won unless they got it and walked by. But yours is the live stream that I watched to actually see who won what. But I heard Herman up there saying, I want to thank my mom and dad. And
Well, you know what? That's one person forgive me, Uncle Bill, that I didn't mention you. Uncle Bill was unbelievable too because he hosted us the night before in a meet and greet at the billiard place that is attached to the bowling alley, and Maddie went out in the parking lot. But I don't know if you've met Greg Thompson. He does Harley FPV. He's
right.
a black gentleman from Colorado, and I got video of him. He decided at a whim that he wanted to get a tattoo on his arm. He got a tattoo, and I went in there and followed him, and they got the tattoo, and it's a FPV Mafia tattoo on his arm. I believe it might be wrong, and he'll probably correct me. Correct me, guys. So, with that said, I want to give a disclaimer that I can't see any of the chat, so forgive me if I'm not responding because I can't read what you guys are saying. But Robbie, you got full control, so give me a
I'm
heads.
watching, and usually me and Al share this responsibility. Usually he watches the chat and I admin on the system. So what I've done today is I put another laptop beside me where I can watch the chat better. And one of the things that I want to say, tonight's show a little controversial. We're supposed to have a guest that is a DJI dealer in Ukraine, which no longer is in business. He had three huge retail stores that do service and repair, and when all the war started, either the government bought all his inventory or he gave it to him or whatever. But there's been a lot of hearsay about, China spying and helping Russia and all this other stuff. So we wanted to get to the bottom of what he thought was going on. So he's supposed to be joining us tonight. Now he is inside the war zone area. So we don't know how good his connection is going to be. He did ask to be on the show and come on. He's been verified. I've talked to him, so we're going to wait and see if he shows up, and then we're going to talk a little bit tonight because what we're going to talk about is Aeroscope. And for those of you who don't know, Aeroscope is like when you take your DJI drone out and you're too close to the airport and it says there's a no-fly zone or something like that. That's that equipment and software stopping you, or maybe you're flying in the city one day and they put up a no-fly zone. This is what controls where the DJI drones fly. And
Agreed.
the issues that yeah, they create it for that, and they sell it, but only sell it to entities. So we couldn't buy it as individual people. We'd have to be law enforcement, fire, government, FAA, somebody like that in order to buy it. But Ukraine's complaint with it right now is, why don't you, China, if you're going to be helping us and not taking sides with Russia, why don't you go in and turn off that feature for them? Well, the problem is think about this, guys. Everybody's always arguing about, are we being spied on, this and that. If China went in and said, okay, yeah, you're right, we're going to cut off Russia so Ukraine can win, they're taking sides politically. And we can't have that, because you're telling me that if they took sides with Russia, with Russia and didn't do it, which they can stay neutral, but if they did that to help Ukraine, that would be showing that they're using their country to fluctuate between us, which means that, trust me, if we ever had issues with Russia, they would turn that crap off on us or use it against us. So that's just things to think about. And we don't have that issue right now.
So
But for
Aeroscope
you
for the
guys in the chat,
yeah, so Aeroscope, if you guys don't know how, it's kind of give you an analogy of what it's like. It's like a firewall in your home or a business firewall. You can set rules. Who can get in and out through that gatekeeping firewall? This is what that does. So it's grabbing the MAC addresses. Well, in the cellular business, it's the same way, right? So when you get a SIM card, it's got an ID associated with that person or that device, and that's exactly what they're doing. So Aeroscope, just to be clear, only works on DJI, right, Robbie? And it does not
correct.
work on the other manufacturers. But there is other products out there that encompass all the drones. And we experienced that when we went to the implosion of the old Dominion Power building. Remember that? Uh,
Yeah.
we were trying to fly into that area, get a little closer into to the area where the building was going to be imploded, but we hit that firewall because we updated our firmware the night before, and a lot of people did not. And so we got that geofence, and that geofence was put in. Now, I was surprised other drones were able to get into that area where that building was.
Well, I think, Al, on our end, on the DGI inside, when we went to fly and it threw up the no fly zone, it did give me a button that says request permission to fly, which you hit. It then takes your number that you registered your drone with, and then they will send back and it unlocks the app. So keep this in mind, because I recently had someone in Nashville that was talking to my brother yesterday, and they're like, oh man, I would buy like a Mini too, because that way the government can't see you or track you. And my brother said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you don't have to register that. It's under the weight. You don't have to. He didn't know any of the real truth behind the stuff. And I was just amazed that he was trying to educate somebody that probably knew as much or more than he knew. But that's not the point, guys. This Aeroscope, if it's DJI and you can get a firmware update into it, more than likely it's going to be able to pick up not only where you're at, but where your controller's at. And that's what Ukraine's complaining about right now. They say that the Russians are using the Aeroscope gear. Let me show you what some of the stuff looks like. This is an antenna mount, and I'm going to share my screen with you here so you can see it. Let me
What are
get back
people
over to my
saying
StreamYard.
in the chat, Robbie?
Right now, they're saying hello to everybody.
Okay, so we're having a
So,
social hour. Cheers, everybody.
yeah, pretty much. I'm going to share my screen here. So this is one of the units, guys, and it says in perfect condition. They can detect drones up to 50 kilometer and as fast as 2 seconds. Now, I've already talked to somebody else that's in the field that develops software for equipment like this for drones in general, and they've let me know that as they're developing this software to detect the drones, that one of the football stadiums was using some of this equipment, and somebody evidently was going to try to fly near or above or around the stadium, but their drone popped up and asked for a firmware update. During the firmware update, this equipment located where the car was. A guy had it in his front seat doing an update, and security went in and just told him, don't even think about flying here. So
Yeah,
that's how accurate this equipment is for that. So this is the unit here. This is the stationary unit that they put up on cell phone towers in different areas in cities, so they can turn them off and on. And their work with software, they actually work through there. So that's what the uh, Aeroscope actually does. And then they got a backstage management system here that controls it. So they can look in on here and they can see where our drone is at and where the controller's at. Now, with that said, back to my screen here, with that said, Ukraine's big complaint with that is, hey, you're letting Russia use that to see where our drones are, and they're actually shooting in on those coordinates, and it's hurting us. You need to turn it off. Well, the problem is they're going to be taking sides again. And yes, probably the majority of the people that enter a chat are going to say, yeah, they were invaded, their wife, those people shouldn't be killed, the kids, all that's wrong. Yes, it's wrong, but as a standpoint from DJI, they could turn it off, but they'd have to turn it off for everybody. And from what I understand through DJI, each unit that's bought 2 years ago, uh, Russia bought 200 units for their country of the Auroscope. So they have 200 units there. Now, a lot of these units are mobile. So if they're on the borderline going 50 kilometers over into the war zone, they're tracking and shooting. But if they're mobile where they can take that in there, they can take it all the way through the country and use it as that. But keep in mind, if they're doing it, Ukraine has them too. Ukraine's doing them too. But the difference is Ukraine supposedly is not supposed to be shooting into the Russia side, which they have said that we've hit some gas tanks and some other stuff that are over there. So it's really up in the air about what's trying to keep neutral. And I can understand on DJI's point, because for years we've heard the US government say we're going to block them, we're not going to let them have any drones. And all of us guys like me, Al, most of you guys in the chat, we've got a lot of money invested in DJI drones, and if we could still fly them and take our pictures, we'd be happy. But if we ever had an issue with China where they said, you know what, they don't want to buy their products, we're mad, click, they could do a firmware and brick us. It's been verified. Okay. So we know they can do that. What would we do, Al? What would you be flying if your DJI got bricked?
Well, obviously, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have hotels and, Hudson and the Phoebe product line and also Skydio. So, I would have options, but, I'm not the norm, right? So a lot of people just have one or two drones at the very most.
Yep.
And so the only option would be really to do a home built or to, go out and find somebody that's actually been able to hack the code that and then load that, because there is tons of hacks out there that unlocks your distance and your altitude on your DJI. So
Yep.
that would be an option right there. So get a different manufacturer. The other would be to go ahead and develop or find somebody that developed a firmware update that can be done on the DJI. Now, with that said, a lot of people out there are recommending not to upgrade your firmware right now because of all the turmoil that's going on. I mean, Joshua Bardwell is one of them. JB said, don't upgrade your firmware on any of your goggles, any of your air units, Cadix, because what they're doing is it doesn't allow you to install a older version. You can only move forward. I mean,
Right.
you could always upgrade. You can never retro back. So, or
Right.
downgrade your firmware. So, I think that's just wrong. I think they're really. I think the community is definitely looking for another alternative, and luckily we do have Autel developing some pretty nice product. You've had the opportunity to fly both of the latest products, Robbie. What did you think of the Nano and the Plus? I mean, yeah, the
I,
Light.
the cameras are great and they do fly very well, but there still is a difference between the Altel line and the DJI as far as stability in the air. It's just, in my opinion, off the two that I've flown, the images are great from the Altel. Have no complaint with any of the image. The image is great, but it just is not. It doesn't fly as true as the Mavic series does. It just doesn't. The two that I've been flying, and actually, you have one that I sent you that you've flown, so you might be able to tell the difference. I've not flown a lot of the minis. I did fly that one that I sent you, and I tested it. but it just doesn't seem to fly as much. But to some of
Yeah,
the stuff that you were saying,
yeah, I
some of the
had,
stuff you were saying about that, Al, was good information for the different products and stuff. But the main thing is, as we start getting into this, and like I said before you started, U.S. and everybody is for years have been trying to say, "Hey, we're going to stop DJI products." Well, we all kind of laugh about it because we're like, "Hey, it's a dollar amount." Well, for you guys that stay up on the news, you probably already know Germany has blocked DJI sales. So the same way US blocked Huawei, the whole country of Germany has blocked DJI. That's a big issue right there because that's a huge market that they sell to. So,
yeah,
Al, my question is, if it happens to us and it happens in the US, what would we do? People are hacking right now. People in Ukraine are actually hacking the 2 Pro. And I don't know what it is about that drone, whether there's a firmware difference where the Aeroscope
it's a
can't see
totally
it.
different app too, Robbie. It's because you're using
Yeah.
the Go app, and I really like how the Go app works. You remember how easy it is to live stream? It's much
Yep.
easier than to have the Fly app. They just don't want you to. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but they don't. And you know what? Something you said triggered this vision in my head. I was flying, and this lady, older lady, hang, hangs around with Bob Davis, old farts in the drones, and she was flying this Roku 222 or something like that. But anyway, the point is this: it flew well, and the camera. She showed me the videos, and it came out really well. And so we were starting to see those, hobby grade drones now
Getting better.
starting to dial it in, right? So I think the market is going to continue to anything that $500 mark and below. There's a lot of competition in there. Obviously, as the SE from Mini SE is probably rules that market because it's
Right.
such a good flyer and has stronger motors than the original Mini. Has a really nice camera, but these other products making it into the market are really good because as the technology now has become so prevalent, everybody's buying and making their own flight controllers and their own VTX video transmitters, and
Yep.
you can source any of this out. It's just a matter of you creating a printed circuit board and dropping your components in it. And then the
Right.
hardest part, as you know, is the coding. So you got to code it.
Yep.
So we're hoping that somebody codes firmware for DJI product lines, and that would skirt this whole thing with DJI. But they're probably
Well,
going to everything out pretty tight now. But
I
those
was
are fun.
hoping we'll wait a little bit more and see if he joins us here. I've not seen him log on yet. My question is, what I'd like to know is, I know they're using DJI products over there. Are they using FPV? Because there are so many people that have stayed out of the FPV, and so many people have made a comment to me that said, "Well, if we start having issues with the Chinese drones, we'll just fly FPV because we can't be tracked." You're right. With the Aeroscope, some of it cannot be tracked, but there are other softwares that can catch the FPVs too. So it's different because that would be a situation where someone would have to have a software and hardware unit and be near you. It wouldn't be a country tracking all the GPS drones flying. It's a different situation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
just for people that want to do that, that say, "Hey, I want to be able to fly a drone and nobody track me." There's always going to be somebody that could track you if they want to do it. That's
I'm going
my
to
point.
interrupt
Now,
you because
okay.
you struck a nerve there, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but the nerve that you struck was that look, not anybody can buy Aeroscope, okay,
That's
and
right.
you have to be a very elite government contractor or the government entity can purchase it because they don't
Yep.
want people, you know, going up and harassing other people. So that's what's
Right.
been the remote ID that we see trying to be implemented here in this country. That's what everybody's pissed off about. Is that you, Robbie, could get pissed off at me because I'm flying too close to something, and you can figure out where I'm flying from and come over and harass me. So that's a
Right.
problem that we're seeing with remote ID. We don't want somebody to be harassing the pilot while he's up in the air, right?
Right.
So who wants to be
But
heckled when they're flying?
right. But with that said, I would much rather be tracked by my own people in my country than another country that could cause me bodily harm. Lock me
Right.
up, but don't kill me. So that's my point behind it. So
I
it's
agree.
it's very it's a very touch and go situation on what it is because for so long we've avoided it saying it'll never happen. So when Germany came in and blocked and said, "Hey, no more DJI products," I'm like, "Wow, are we next for that?" And if that's the case, what will we fly? I would love to be able to say that there are more American or Canadian contractors that build drones that we could buy that are affordable because if they're made in the USA, more than likely it's going to cost us more. And I guess I would be willing to pay more if the product was good. And I would buy American products, but even buying the Autel, everybody bought the Autel and thought, oh man, it's great. And then everybody started having Jello and they're like, oh man, I got away from DJI. I'm away from a safety zone. I made a mistake. Now they fixed a lot of those issues. Now with the Light Plus, there's really been no issues.
But the Mac
But
3 is having huge amount of issues with the GPS. So, they're not immune to any of these manufacturing snafus because they ended up picking a GPS chip that didn't have enough memory to store everything in it. So it has to do all this housekeeping with the GPS, like cache and memory before it takes off.
yeah,
So if it's got tons of stuff in there and needs to flush it all out and then do its housekeeping. So, their decision to go with that automotive grade GPS is really came back and hurt them because they were thinking, hey, it's going to be better for vibration, it's going to be better if it gets wet, and, it's going to be performing better. But the problem that they did not encounter is that they're shoving so much data into that GPS module that they need back to the controller that is not able to release, um, I guess, all the GPS housekeeping quick enough.
right.
But it's doing a lot of housekeeping and house cleaning actually before it takes off. So, but that's just hearsay. That's what we're hearing out there right now. But the question everybody's been asking is the Mini 3 using the same GPS chip? So most likely it is. So that means that the 2 Pro and the 2 Zoom are really valuable at this point in time. And that's why you're seeing those going to Ukraine or going
Yeah.
to those other countries because you're not going to get that. Um, because here's the deal. You have the Mini 2. You can turn that thing on. As soon as it fires up, you can take off. The Mavic 2 Pro, you don't even need a phone to fly it because all your
Right.
telemetry is on your controller. You just take off and
Well,
go.
the issue, but the issue is like what we were actually talking about on the show, not getting veered off too far, is Aeroscope. You can get on your Mini and you can take off, but here's the deal: your GPS location is going to change on that drone, but it's not going to change on that controller where you're standing.
No, well,
So
unless
if
you're
they've
moving
got
too.
that, your butt's gone. And that's
Well,
the whole issue of tonight's show is how they're tracking, what they're using. And I was hoping that this guy would come on and tell us his experience on what they're having in the field. So he actually had a setup where when the drones come in the country, his group was altering the drones, doing hacks on the drones, trying to keep them from being seen. And we're 33 minutes into it, so I don't know. I've already texted him on Facebook again. He had me send him a Google Calendar, but he may be in a bad situation right now or in a bad area that's
yeah,
out of power. We don't know. So I think what I'll probably do is if he doesn't show out, when he calls, I'll do an interview with him. And then next week, when we do next week's show, I'll play it during our live stream. And with that, the people can make the comments and see what is going on over there because right now we're relying on Fox News, CNN, and all that on the war. I want to know what's going on the ground with people with drones, who's using them because We teach people all the time how to fly a drone. You just can't give someone, an Air 2 and say, here and walk off. They've got to learn who's teaching them. I want to know who's doing this stuff for them.
Yeah, unless you are actually already loaded a waypoint map in there for them. But here's the deal: once you kick off this autonomous flight, right? You can move around as a pilot. You can go, or you can leave the controller right there and walk away because it's
Right,
already doing the autonomous flight. And so the GPS coordinates are being is not in the RC; it's on your phone. Okay.
right.
So if you could block GPS signals coming out of your phone, then you might be able to do something to prevent or skew it to some way that says, so you're spoofing it just like you would a VPN, right? You're spoofing it.
Right.
You spoof your ID to be in Kansas City instead of Virginia, right? You're spoofing that. So if we can spoof the GPS signal, um, that would be an interesting way to go. Or just keep moving,
Yeah.
while you're
Well,
flying.
let's ask the people in the chat, and we'll ask everybody in the chat but Max Air 420 because DJI sucks, as he says, which is good. If you didn't fly a DJI, or we got blocked where we couldn't buy them, or they bricked us where we couldn't fly a DJI drone. Other than FPV, what would you guys be buying? What would be the drone manufacturer that you would buy from? That's what we want to know. What would you buy? Is it
Yeah,
going to
you
be
know what?
Altel,
I forgot
Hubsan?
to
Who?
mention.
Who would you buy?
I forgot to mention Parrot, and Parrot's a big player now. But right now, they don't have anything else besides the Bebop or the Anafi. So,
Right.
but they,
JSK Enterprise said he'd be doing the Evo 2. And Mudball Creative said that he'd be going with a fixed wing. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm surprised, Mudball, on that more, and maybe there are more over there that are fixed wing that we don't know about. Man, some of those things are really fast and
they're
can cover
super
some good
fast,
ground.
Robbie. You can buy the Dolphin or the Dart XL, and they do 120 miles an hour. And
Jackrabbit
you can,
said he would do Skydio.
there you go. And you can make it into a VTOL, so you can take off vertically and just let it rip. And then I just 3D printed. Arduino, as you know, is a little CPU board, and it's open source, and you program it with C, and they have all these kits that you can do. And so the point here is that you can actually do some autonomous programming on that little board, and you can 3D print all day long your pan and tilt for an FPV system. So you'd have a camera just for flying, because you have a lot of the fixed wing guys use multiple cameras on their planes. Okay. And they'll also sync up their controllers so they fly as a squad. So they're tracking each other. And that's how you're seeing this wonderful shot, because they're locked into each other as a unit. And that's how they're flying. So
Wow.
I think you're onto something here, because if we can pan, tilt, pitch down the camera on a fixed wing, then you're able to see straight down just like we
Right.
do. Obviously, I would use a DJI Air unit, but it doesn't mean you have to. Um, so, then you would
Well,
just go ahead and move into the analog business and just go at it that way.
yeah. I want to say hey to some of the people in chat because I haven't done anything since we started here and been in the middle of this conversation. So let's go through here. I see Lauren that's in here. Lost Girl Adventures, Uncle Bill, of course. Uncle Bill, thank you again for that live stream. That was good. It helped me see what was being given away along for
Mhm.
next year. When me and Al donate again, we'll be able to see what we gave this year and try to give something comparable or nicer for next year's events, which I will already have I'm waiting on my long-term visa now, which is a year. And as I come through, as you get a marriage visa in Asia, you have to go through the process of a couple like 90-day visas, and then they give you the big one. The big one means that you can come through that year in and out of the country as much as you want, and it puts the visa on hold when you're out. So a year's visa might last me for 2, 3 years coming in and out. That way I can go back to the US, visit family, friends, fly, and come back. So that's one of the reasons I couldn't come to the event, but I'll be there next year. We got Ray Kelly in here. Ray, event Al said was great. Everybody else, I saw a lot of stuff. Thank you for giving away the stuff that we donated. We got Jackrabbit FPV, JSK Enterprise, Fly Zone Drone, Sergio or Mikey one, but probably both. Akriasho's in here. Who else? AZ Drone Dude, Fly Zone.
So
Yeah,
we got a good crowd.
Johnny's in here. Yeah, we got plenty. So if I missed your name, thanks for coming in. Also, I saw DeMarco in here. He said hey, and he said hey to you, Al. And then we got Mudball. So
Hey,
these
DeMarco.
are
Thanks,
good
buddy.
subjects because we're usually the same guys that come in between my chat, Al's chat, Ray, Johnny's chat. So we all know each other. And it's really good because as we buy these things and come up with issues, we can warn us, hey, don't buy this, buy this. But I guess my question now is, are we going into the future where we're going to end up having to make the stuff in the US for security purposes? That's the issue. And like I said before, everybody's saying, oh, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. Tell Germany, the whole country, it'll never happen. It's done. It's
Yeah.
done. So I wonder how that works on a support aspect. If they need support or something like that, does that mean that they can't get support anymore? It's a big if. So with
I
that
wonder if you're
said,
going to
keep in
block the
mind that
cards too. I mean, what
yeah,
if you need
we may
parts?
yeah, exactly. We may end up being able to make our own stuff, which is not a problem if we can find a company to stand up and make those stuff. I would have no problem buying stuff from the US. And I've had people in the past that said, well, Robbie, that's not fair because you're American, but you're living in Asia, so you're over there with them. Well, number one, my wife's Asian. She's Thai, she's not Chinese. Not that it matters, but the point is I'm going to be American no matter what. But I'll say this. I do have a web development company that is in China that's in Guilin. And my manager that runs my company there told me, Robbie, we should move the office to Thailand. And I was like, why? And he said, because if the relations go bad between China and the US, you're going to lose your money over here because the government's going to grab it on sanctions or something. You're not going to be able to get it. So for the last year, we have planned on moving everything to here and putting a new commercial building up. And we're in the process of that now, moving over for my web development company. And then with that, me and Al are going to do some manufacturing here and in the US. But he was straight with me. He said, I'll just be straight with you. If we have an issue, China's going to look after China. So, even though we like it, we like the products, we like going in and buying stuff at Walmart and it says made in China. All that could stop one day.
Yeah.
And don't be naive and think that it could never happen because it happens all the time and it just happened in Germany. So I'm eager to see what happens in the future and hopefully we don't have those issues. But I want to be in a situation with what's going on, what is really going on over here. So luckily, Thailand is really good with the U.S. The U.S. actually sends money here and helps. Same way with the Philippines. We got a military base there. So I'm not worried about if we have an issue, am I stuck here? I will get home. Although I'll say this, tourism was already bad here and Russia has closed their airspace. We can't fly over there anymore. We got to go around it. More expensive tickets. We're already spending more for gas. So I'm ready very soon to take a trip home and get around those, alleviate those problems and move from there. So, you know, that's kind of my aspect of that. But anyway, I don't think our guy's going to show up for tonight's show, guys. I'm sorry. I'm hoping that when I talk to him, I can do an interview and play it back later because I want him to tell us what he thinks DJI is doing wrong and how it's been because they're still flying the DJI drones. So it's not like they're saying it's a bad product. It's a privacy issue. And that's where we're getting back down. And like I said before, all the people in here that are saying, it's okay. I don't ever get tracked and I can't be tracked because I'm FPV. It's not true because you can be tracked.
Yeah. It's just like your phone is not listening to you. It is.
Yeah.
And so with that said, I wanted to just kind of switch gears a little bit and just
Okay.
talk about some of the things that we did. Captain Ray Kelly had everything, choreographed so well, and it worked out really well, Robbie. We had a kind of a impromptu breakfast the day before. I met his wife Cheryl, and we had a wonderful time. Cheryl, my wife, got along great, and tomorrow hopefully we'll be going out on a kayak trip here at one of the parks that he is a member of, and then we broke out and just started flying, and then we had lunch, and then everybody waited for that raffle, man. That raffle, everybody wanted that, the prizes, right? And yeah, and it was great. And then there was the dinner in the evening. Everybody went there. I didn't get a chance to go because I was in a different location. And the next day we went out to fly at a different location. And Max, Tammy's uh, husband, Tammy, what's Tammy's last name now? We had her on our
Tammy
show.
Jean. Tammy
Tam-
Jean.
Tammy Jean. Her husband Max flew a fixed wing, man. It was bigger than my. It was like 6 feet wingspan, and it was so fun because I was able to get my FPV up in the air and just, tail him. And a couple times I was a little close, man. Like a little buzz, and so we had a bunch of guys, on Sundays flying. We had, I mean, Marcus, Scott, Ron. I'm going to miss a lot of the folks out there. I mean, everybody was out there. Johnny, everybody was just flying, having a
How
good.
many people, Al? How many people do you think showed up? I mean, I know Ray's probably got a list of how many. So Ray, put it in the chat if you know offhand about how many you have. What do you think, Al?
Well, he had scheduled like 84, and I think only like 4 to 5 people didn't show up, but you had all these other people show up. So I would think we were probably close to 100 folks there. And then we had 3 drones go in the water. Marcus lost his, uh, he lost his Autel Nano Plus in the water. It was just felt went in the drink. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. 84, I think.
Al,
That
my
was that
question
was the
is,
list that he had together, Michael. But I don't know what the tally was. You had to sign in to. You had to write down your name if you wanted a raffle ticket. Yeah, Marcus.
Al,
Oh yeah, there's. Uh huh. Go ahead.
Al, tell me this: when Marcus's drone went swimming, did it make you sick to your stomach and remember you when we were flying the Skydio and the Skydio went
Oh
in? Did you
man,
get that feeling from him?
yeah, that's rough. We always talk about that. Well, now we'll have to talk about his. And
Exactly.
then um, Maddie's son went in the water trying to retrieve it.
I saw
Couldn't.
that.
It was just too far out. And then we had, I think it was Kevin. Don't quote me on this one. Kevin was flying the 8-inch iFlight frame. That
Right.
and I can't remember his configuration on flight controllers, but he had Zing motors on it and Elazar long range receiver on it, and it was loose and it vibrated. 82 signed in. You see that? So that's great. Yeah, I would think it was over 100 too. I mean, from the crowd that was there, it was over 100 because a lot of people brought their spouses and and their kids. So it was a family event. It was clean, fun, and then we had the U.S. Army there with their big toys. They had a big old sidewinder sitting on their table, man. You know what I mean? It was really nice to see that. Um, yeah, so Maddie's son jumped in the water and retrieved the 8-inch FPV quad. It was flying close to the bulkhead, and it just lost its signal to the receiver and a fail safe. That means he had set up his fail safe in Betaflight to drop. So
Tell me this, what is the secret to coming to the event is whoever has the most family has the better chance of winning the product?
well, you know what? Here's the deal. If you won early in the raffle, you were eliminated from winning anything else. So if you won the stickers, that was, you're done. You weren't in the running for the bigger prizes, like, the two Mavic twos, mini two, sorry. Um, so, I was lucky. You know what I ended up winning, Robbie?
What?
Analog pair of goggles.
Really?
So now I got an analog pair of goggles to match. So I'm tickle pink. I'll probably use them with my Get FPV Tiny Go Whoop, and maybe I'll switch over to that analog on some of my fixed wings too. But the fixed wing, we got to chase Max's fixed wing was so much fun chasing that thing. It was huge, Robbie. It was a freaking huge, man. As big as the wingspan is as tall as you are. And the wind was howling. So when he flew into the wind, it would literally just sit there, barely move. It was just like, which is more of a challenge with that PB drone because it when you hover, since we have somewhere about a 20 to 40 degree angle of pitch on our cameras, you can't hover like this. You hover
Yeah.
like this, but your camera is looking straight up almost. So the drone is hovering, but you can't see where it's straight ahead. You see above you. So it's a bit of a challenge, and I'm still learning a lot. So the way that I overcome that, I just do rolls like this, and then catch the subject in the roll and go, okay, there is to my left, and then you can do a loop and then come back around and get on the sixes.
Yeah. Well, I tell you
Yeah,
what, look, let's give away a few things out, but I'm going to ask in the audience first as we're going to give some of this stuff away. Who in the group in the chat has a pocket? Anybody in here have any pockets? Al, I know you got them. The DJI
I
pocket.
lost
Anybody
mine,
in here has a
Robbie.
pocket?
I lost mine.
What?
It fell out of my bag and went into the drink and gone.
Oh,
You know how
oh
you pick
Lord.
up your bag and you swing it? I left a little gap
Yeah.
this big, and when I swung it to put it on, it went, and I'm like, watch it hit. And I'm like, oh, I can't. I'll never get that. So I got all the
Yeah.
accessories. I should have given them away.
Yeah.
So I saw Kevin. He was the FPV flyer from Colorado. He had a
Okay.
pocket. Who
Okay.
was walking around pockets? Guys, help us out in the chat. You guys know who was using the pockets while we were there. Yeah, you
Pretty good. I
do.
like that.
You probably have a bunch of pockets in your shirts
Okay.
too.
Nobody in here has a pocket, so they don't get that gift. Okay, tell you what, who in here has Air 2S?
Oh my gosh, that's got to be 60% of the people here.
Exactly. So we're gonna have to see who's got them because if you guys want some of these gifts, okay. Uncle Bill said he likes hot pockets.
Good one, Uncle Bill. Hey, what was
Okay.
yeah, we had some really good
AZ,
fellowship.
yeah, AZ drone dude. So you have Air 2S, correct? Let's see. Okay. DeMarco has also. Look, Uncle Bill says, pick me, pick me. Okay. Tell you what we'll do for and let it be the people that pick a number on this. Al, I'm gonna send you the number. Hold on.
I won't be able to read it, unfortunately, my friend,
Oh
because
yeah,
I'm
okay,
on the
well,
phone. So
okay. I'll just
you're gonna
have
have to control it.
to do it in my mind. Okay. So what we're gonna give away is we're gonna give away some ND filters for the DJI Air 2S. They're PGY Tech, and I'm gonna have to mail these out tomorrow. And guys, it'll take a couple of weeks to get there. So whoever wins will will have to send me an email. I've already sent out some shirts to 2 of y'all. We're waiting on getting more shirts, and we did get them printed, so we'll send those. But I'll mail these out tomorrow, and they've not been opened. They're from PGY Tech, so we'll send these out. So let's do this. And if you've already got SD filters, don't buy them to give them to somebody else. Let people try to win them that don't have ND filters yet. So let's pick a number between 1 and 20, and then we'll see who wins these ND filters. So y'all can go ahead and start putting in there, and we'll see who wins it. So it's between 1 and 20, Al.
Okay, so while we're waiting on that, a lot of things are happening analytics wise on both your channel, my channel. I saw you hit 70,000 views. Congratulations, well done. And I'm approaching 5,000 subscribers. So I'm going to be giving away a drone for the 5,000 subscriber mark. So guys, let's help me get to the 5,000, and then we're either going to give a mini SE away or the FEMI Mini. I have 2 of those, and I have not opened one of them at all. I really like my FEMI. Unlike Johnny, he really does not like his. His was horrible, man. And Marcus had it. Remember all the drop off Wi-Fi issues, disconnect issues he had. So okay. I'm sorry to say, I purchased 2 of those about 8 months ago, and in advance, knowing that I was going to hit that 5,000 mark this year, and I was going to give it away. So, what's the numbers look like?
We can't be picking a bunch of different numbers each time, because it takes too much to go through in here. So I'm going to say here, by looking through, the number actually that is the winner, and it looks like Fly Zone Drone got it with 14. He was the first to put 14 in. So is that Sergio or Mikey?
That's going to be Mikey, I bet. So Sergio has his own login, I think. It says Sergio-Fly Zone Drones, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mikey. Mikey?
Okay, it's Mike. Okay, cool. Okay, so Mike, we'll mail these out to you. So just email world@worlddronecommunity.com. Put your shipping address on it, and I'll send them out to you tomorrow. And then I'll send you a tracking number where you can track it.
Here's a bad joke.
So that's the first gift.
Why didn't you send Robbie a box with the self-stamp box to Robbie?
No, I'll do that. Hey, matter of fact, Mikey, just text me. You're on my messenger. Ain't no reason to email it. Send me the address and everything, and I'll send these out to you. So this is one. The next thing I've got is going to be a joint venture between me and Al that we're giving away. Look at Al. Al's going, oh God, what am I paying for?
Oh, yeah.
You know, guys, we all have displays when we do live streams and stuff in our show. And I got this really cool print for these drone hangers that go on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually screw into the wall, and then the drone lays here. It fits most all the Mavics that are in there. They're pretty cool, and I've actually printed out a bunch of them for our new house that's being built, so I can mount a lot of the drones on my walls. So I'll tell you what, 2 people that have Mavics that want one of these, just put it in the chat, and then I'll send you the file for it. Okay. It's cheaper for you to make it and ship it.
Yes.
And I'll pay for the shipping.
I might already have it printed for you.
Yeah, exactly. So these are cool though, guys. I mean, the drone fits in them. Here, let me just grab my drone here and show you. Because I was always looking for a way not to have them stuck on the top of a desk all the time. And I thought, man, if I could build a shelf. So I built a shelf for my charging stations. So when I have my drones, I've got a place to charge my batteries instead of, determining what went through. So here's the Air 2S here. So the hook mounts into the wall. It's got two holes here. It's got 45 angles on it. It's actually a nice little rack. And then the drone fits on it just like so. and it holds the drone on the wall. It's like a hanger.
Yeah, looks really nice.
So if any of y'all want the wall hangers, just put it in the chat or text me or Al and let us know, and we'll print them out and send them to you. And then let's see. Tell you what else we got too. My pocket, because Al, I know you dropped this once when we were in Virginia. These pockets, they fall down really, really easy. Okay, and I know you built stuff for yours before. Remember the stuff you showed me?
Yeah, actually,
So
it's
what we, what
concrete.
what I did was I found this print, and I don't know if you've seen these before.
Oh, I have. They're
So
very.
so this so I'll send you the file where you can print out whoever wants one. We can send them one. We'll send two people, and the way it works is it just locks in and it sets. You can get it to your SD card. You can get to your power here. But what I like about it is the hole. It actually prints the thread in the hole. So when you screw it on, it's tight. So you can actually put your pocket on your mount.
Yeah, and let us know what color you want too.
Yeah. Now
I see.
I don't know what filaments what color filaments do you have, Al?
Well, it depends on if we're using TPU, PLA, or PETG. PETG.
Just do PLA. It doesn't get hot. You got black, what right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got black and
Do it
white.
in black. I did some in white, some in orange, some in gold, but I've got 16 colors, but I don't want to ship them. So whatever colors you got, whoever wants one for the pocket, let Al know, and we'll send the first two people. We'll mail them out to you. And Al, just make them blacks to match these. It's
Yeah,
easier to do it that way.
yeah. Not a problem, Robbie. I can do that. Let's
So
see.
guys, that's just kind of the best I can do on giving away stuff from a distance. But Mikey, I'll mail these out. I had just gotten these like 2 weeks ago from PGY Tech, not even opened them. So I'll go ahead and send these out. And then later we've got some new stuff that we'll be giving away. And I've got some extra. This is PGY Tech's Mavic 3 adjustable lens ND filter. So this covers 4 filters in one. And I've got the first 4, 4, 8, 16, 32, and the next 4, I've got another set. So in one of the upcoming live streams, maybe next week or the week after, we're going to be giving these away also. And then we'll mail these out to you from here and send you a tracking number. I love this because you just twist it and it darkens and lightens. So instead of having to use the one that the M3 came with, because a lot of you guys didn't buy I bought the Flymore pack with my Mavic 3, but it only comes with the package with the 4 ND filters. And if you want the other 4, it's 100 and I think it's like 168 or $170. Man, this is one. You just adjust it. Oh, sorry. You just adjust this one and you don't need all those 4 things. And for those of you that don't get these that want to buy them, dude, this is like half the price, under half the price of what DJI gets for theirs, and theirs aren't one piece; theirs are 4. So I've tried these out on my Mavic 3, and I may even be sending the Mavic 3. It's not going to be a giveaway, but I may I don't know, I may sell that and try something else. I don't use it a lot. I use my Air 2S a lot. The smart controller I'm not going to sell, but I may in the future. I don't know. I may do the Mavic 3 and we'll see what happens. But those are the giveaways. And then let's see what else we'll do. We've got some stickers. I don't know who didn't get a sticker for World Drone Community that wasn't in the event. So what we'll do is we'll pick another number, and anybody that wants to win some World Drone Community stickers, put your number in there, 1 through 20, and we'll give away a couple of stickers. Al's already got the stickers. He picked them up from Ray, so he'll be taking them back to his house, and then we'll get him to mail them out. So any of y'all that want a sticker, just put your number 1 through 20 in here, and we'll give away the sticker.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I mean, there was definitely it was like a sticker free for all at the event. Everybody had a good time exchanging stickers. You know, it was
I
really
should
fun.
have had somebody get me everybody's sticker because I wasn't there to get them, so I missed out. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see who didn't get a sticker, and we'll give away a sticker. And then in the future, when I got my 3D printer, I was doing some testing. So of course, the people over here are all Buddhist. Most of them, they're not Christians. So I made my wife a Buddha with a 3D printer. You got to check it out. This is the Buddha. In all the detail that comes with the Buddha. Guys, the 3D printer really opens up a lot of cool ideas. And as we fly drones and come up with things that our drones are missing, let's share that information of what we need. Because, guys, we can make our own stuff with this stuff and supply each other with the stuff. Why buy from a company when we're in the same community to be able to do that? So let's see who won here. Well, I'll tell you one thing. We're going to send AZ Drone Dude one because he's picked 8 different numbers. So he's definitely going to get one. So
Good job,
text me in
AJ.
my messenger. Yeah, text me in my messenger and let me get your address to send it to. If you don't have it, you can reach out to Ray or Johnny and they'll give it to you because you're probably hooked in with their messenger, if not mine. And then let's see who else we're going to give it to. Uh, Drone, ANU Visuals, same thing. Either text my messenger or text Ray and Johnny, and they'll get the address over to me for the stickers. And giveaway is done for tonight, guys. That's it. I'm a little depressed that the guy didn't show up tonight, but I don't know his circumstance, and I know a lot's going on with his country right now on that. But just wanted to kind of keep aware of what's going on in the different countries with the not just DJI, but all the products in general on what we're buying and what's going on with technology in this crazy world that we're in. I thought COVID was going to be our last big issue. Before COVID, it was, we started off with all the trials with OJ years ago. And, every year they're either impeaching somebody for the media and it all stopped. And then COVID hit. And as COVID started to lighten up a little bit, I was like, wow. And then all this war starts. It never ends, Al.
No, humankind is broken, man. We're all broken, and we're all will continue to make mistakes and try to fix them. So, you know, just I'm hoping that we can keep that on the other side of the world. So, what's going
Yeah,
on? What are you going
you're
to be doing this week? What are you going to be doing?
well. I'm going to immigration today to hopefully get my other visa I need. I've got to take care of that. Um, man, I'm just my wife got COVID probably 7, 8 days ago, and she decides that she's going to go to her mom's to be away from me and her daughter, so we don't get sick. She goes to her mom's. Her mom gets sick. So her and her mom moved across the street to a house that was for sale that we bought. And they were living in that house and things was great. And then the daughter that's with me got the virus and she had to go to that house. And then the mother's house had kids in it. Those kids, everybody is in my new house that I'm not even living in. I'm alone in this house. And every time I test, I'm negative. So it's like it's not hitting me for some reason and it's hitting everybody else. So I got 3 more days and she comes home and I'll be so glad because I bought enough frozen dinners that, that I've got in the freezer. And Al's the luckiest guy in the world because everybody's hearing me say Julie can cook. I mean, she could open a restaurant and pack it because she doesn't like buy stuff and heat it. She makes everything from scratch. So to be able to have somebody do that, and my wife cooks also when she's here, it's a big change for me.
It
Because
is.
when I
It's
left the
huge.
US, when I was in the US, it was great. Me and David, we just go eat everywhere and I was getting all fat. And I came here, started to lose weight, eating better food, and then she's gone. And I'm like, oh crap, I gotta eat out again. So that's kind of like that's kind of what I'm doing. As I look through the people with the chat, I really appreciate the people that have reached out to me about my wife. and ask how she was. I really appreciate that, and trust me, it's not unforeseen. Thank you very much for letting me letting me know that you care. It means a lot to me. I'm glad that we have all these great friends, and as we keep through this little journey of our learning how to drone and everything else, this is kind of our way to relax, our hobby to release stress. And I see Lost Girls Adventures in here. And y'all just keep flying and making videos and sharing, and let's just visit each other's live streams and support each other. I tell you, when I saw everybody at the event, I was just like, wow, at least I was there to give some stuff out because
Yeah,
I wasn't there. I'm really by myself. When I'm in the US, Al will tell you, me and Al fly, we used to fly almost every day. And to go from that to being over here flying alone, unless I go to the city and fly with the groups that are there, which with my wife sick, I don't do that. I'm really
well,
kind of
I'll tell you what,
homebound.
man. It, we got to really appreciate what we have, right? And step back a little bit. I know that I have had some life changing events that have caused me to change, but we're praying for everybody over there to get well quickly, Robbie, especially Pamika and her daughter, obviously, because, we've got to virtually meet her and looking forward to one day our wives to get together and each other's company, then meeting her daughter and, going out flying again. And then, I have a new set of, things that I would love to share with you too, with the FBB knowledge that I've learned and the knowledge you've learned from being in that country, all the marketing and all the contacts and all that stuff. So really look forward to, you know, getting together and do that again because the fellowship we had and we still do, it's just not, we can't just jump in each other's car and go somewhere anymore.
Well, it's
But
different
we,
because me and you were a little closer because we live near each other. So we have a tighter relationship where we mainly just know the other people that are in the chat. So we have a relationship where these other people are more of just regular friends that come in. But yeah, we need to continue to support each other and to let everybody know all the stuff that we gave away at the event came from money that World Drone Community made from selling shirts and hats. And I really want to thank Johnny and Doc Murdoch both because Doc bought hats. He bought patches that World Drone Community made. We make all of our own products. All of the profits that were made off of everything that's been paid for from you guys that you bought through World Drone Community, every penny of that and more went to pay for the drones, the GoPros, everything else. Me and Al have not made any money personally out of our pocket for anything. Everything that was made from the products that we bought, that we printed the shirts on and sold the shirts. Every penny plus went directly to the event, 100%. So we weren't trying to do it to make money off of it. We were trying to do it to find a way to generate money, to put money back into the community, to give away stuff, to make the awareness of new products and new drones that some come to the field, and people can get those as gifts. So everything we make goes directly back out to you guys.
yeah, so the
Other than
business,
that, it's time.
sorry to interrupt, Bob. Yeah, the business
Okay.
model is basically cover our costs and everything else is then given back. So
Exactly.
we're hoping that, we'll continue to have momentum moving forward to, be able to provide that service to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so we're approached over an hour here, Robbie. It looks
Yep.
I'm getting a hairy
Well,
eye
we'll
over there from the wife.
yeah, I know. We'll end this here, and then next week I'm hoping that I can you know, um, get with this guy and do a video on him, and maybe we can share some of that video on next week's live stream. Next week, I do have some other stuff that I do want to give away that I need to give away and get shipped to you. I'll go ahead and take some pictures and I'll ship it to you
Okay.
tomorrow, Al. That way, when we give it away, it'll go quicker to the people. But I really appreciate that everybody helps me and Al both, visiting the live stream, visiting our channels when we do videos and stuff. And we try to return and visit you guys, get you guys views, get you guys subs. and that goes for anybody that goes on our channel. So other than that, we bored y'all long enough. Again, I'm sorry that our guest didn't show. We don't know his circumstance right now. But other than that, everybody go enjoy their night, do what they need to do. We'll get our day started. And we'll see y'all next Monday night at 7 Eastern time and see what's in next week's giveaway. We got some good stuff next week. So
Good
y'all
stuff,
have a good
Rob.
time.
Bye
See
bye.
ya.